There are findings that rattle astronomy to its core, findings that leave astronomers bewildered. And then come the findings that fracture the very foundation beneath physics. Music, the sort of findings that silence Nobel laureates during interviews. Music that compel cosmologists to shut their laptops and murmur, "This cannot be right." That cause even the staunchest advocates of the Big Bang, music, to falter mid-sentence because the evidence before them simply has no right to exist. And the music James Webb Space Telescope has just handed us precisely that sort of finding. Something so deeply contradictory, so fiercely at odds with our present theories of galaxy birth, cosmic development, music, and the genesis of matter itself that researchers are compelled, reluctantly, anxiously, and occasionally openly, to concede that something is basically music broken in our picture of the early universe. Webb peered farther than any tool humanity has ever built. It gazed past the cosmic dark, music, ages into the epoch where the first tentative sparks of starlight were expected to emerge. Yet instead of uncovering faint, rudimentary music, infant galaxies gradually coalescing from hydrogen clouds, Webb uncovered giants, music, hyperluminous, flawlessly organized, impossibly weighty entities that ought not to appear for another billion music years. Entities that refuse to act like galaxies, refuse to assemble like galaxies. Music refused to mature like galaxies. Entities that perhaps aren't galaxies in any conventional sense. And as these images poured in, each one smashing music, another fragment of the cosmological framework, a single realization rippled through the scientific world like a subdued tremor. James Webb didn't merely uncover fresh objects. Music, it demolished physics. The unraveling began with one solitary object, a modest yellow smudge tucked inside one of Webb's deep field frames, nearly lost amid music thousands of dim pinpoints. Nothing marked it as extraordinary at first glance. No feature shouted cosmic. Music, irregularity, except for one stubborn detail that demanded attention. Its brightness was excessive, not merely mildly surprising. It shone with an intensity that shattered every luminosity music model devised for the early universe. Astronomers first guessed it must lie closer, a distance illusion, the sort of error common in deep field cosmology. But spectroscopy, music destroyed that guess in an instant. The redshift proved colossal. The distance held true. And all at once they confronted music, the most remote galaxy ever detected, present when the universe had reached only 290 million years of age. It bore no resemblance to a newborn music galaxy. It appeared neither primitive, nor diminutive, nor disordered. It looked mature, massive, fully developed. A seasoned veteran in an age where only infants should exist. That instant marked the quiet, music onset of alarm behind closed doors. Because if even a single mature galaxy stood at that epoch, then every principle we hold about early universe physics collapses. And within music days, Webb demonstrated this was no isolated case. Not an outlier, not a statistical fluke, but the opening wave in a torrent of objects that violate every tenet of our cosmic rulebook. Deep fields captured by James Webb are meant to serve as peepholes into cosmic childhood, subdued, feeble, music, scattered glimmers marking the tentative first strides of structure formation. But when Webb directed its infrared gaze toward one of the blackest voids in the sky, what emerged was not music childhood. It was adulthood, vigor, intricacy. Webb identified thousands of peculiar entities across these deep fields. And the deeper astronomers probed, the clearer it became. These were not early galaxies in any accepted sense. They shone too intensely, compacted too tightly, weighed too heavily, organized too neatly. They fit no recognized template of proto-galaxy from mainstream cosmology. And the most troubling aspect, they populate the early universe ubiquitously. Not one freak occurrence, not a pair, but a whole cohort of cosmic architectures that simply had no business existing then. A fresh analysis tallied 87 candidate galaxies assembled between 200 and 400 million years post-Big Bang, a tally so outrageously elevated that it strikes directly at the heart of the lambda-CDM paradigm, the bedrock of contemporary cosmology. One of the study's lead authors stated candidly, "Even if only a fraction prove genuine, we will have to overhaul our entire understanding of galaxy formation." And therein lies the excruciating reality. Webb is not unveiling a leisurely maturing cosmos. It is unveiling a cosmos that appears to have bypassed the introductory phase altogether. A cosmos that looks prematurely aged at its frontiers. A cosmos that reached maturity with unnatural speed. A cosmos that acts as though the Big Bang chronology is either incomplete or outright mistaken. As though ultraluminous, heavyweight early entities weren't disruptive enough, Webb uncovered something far more alarming, something that defies core physics. In every contemporary galaxy we observe, roughly 10% of available gas ever condenses into stars. That efficiency cap remains so consistent, so universal, so ingrained in astrophysics that music, it qualifies as a fundamental cosmic law. Yet Webb has now pinpointed 3 early objects where 100% of the gas transformed into stars. Every atom, every molecule, every music fragment converted. Current physics declares this impossible. A galaxy cannot consume its entire fuel reserve instantaneously. It requires time to cool, collapse, fragment. It demands repeated cycles of starburst and suppression. But Webb's entities behave as though constructed via a wholly alien mechanism, one absent from every modern astrophysical framework. These entities do not mimic galaxies. They act like something else entirely, something for which we lack even a name. Certain researchers now murmur privately that these might represent an unknown class of cosmic entity predating all our models. And that prospect terrifies more than any prior irregularity, because it suggests we aren't merely overlooking finer points. We may be overlooking an entire epoch of cosmic history. For nearly a century, we have held that distant galaxies retreat from us because space itself expands. We understand that greater distance correlates with greater recession speed, some velocities even surpassing the speed of music light. Relativity insists such galaxies should remain invisible, their light forever unable to reach us. Yet Webb detects them. It registers galaxies, music, situated beyond the so-called Hubble sphere, galaxies receding superluminally, galaxies that ought to lie permanently concealed behind a cosmic veil, yet their photons still arrive. The conventional defense holds that the Hubble sphere itself grows over time, gradually encompassing new galaxies within our observable reach. But Webb's latest deep field revelations, music, strain that defense to its limit. We observe objects our equations declare should have outpaced their own light indefinitely. If that stands correct, then something central to our grasp, music, of cosmic expansion stands flawed. Either relativity remains incomplete, or space-time's geometry proves far more intricate than assumed. Music, or the early universe operated in ways no current theory anticipates. Webb has laid bare the deepest paradox in observational cosmology. We are witnessing phenomena our models insist should be forever unobservable. The observable universe stretches roughly 92 billion light-years. Yet that figure marks no physical edge, only a visibility horizon. And Webb reveals objects so advanced at the perimeter of that observable sphere that their presence carries a chilling implication. Structure must have existed long before the cosmic microwave background emerged. The Big Bang framework posits a hot, dense origin 13.8 billion years ago. But if the earliest galaxies already appear excessively aged, excessively massive, excessively sophisticated at 200 to 300 million years, then the infant universe held no blank canvas awaiting structure. It arrived pre-structured. Certain Nobel-winning physicists now cautiously explore a radical notion. The universe may never have possessed a true origin. The Big Bang may represent not the absolute commencement, but a transition, a phase shift, a reorganization of a pre-existing cosmos. Webb may not merely display early galaxies. It may display preserved echoes of a cosmic age that antedates the Big Bang, an epoch older than comprehension allows. Should that prove accurate, our complete cosmological narrative demands reconstruction from the ground up. The prevailing cosmological paradigm rests on a singularity, a solitary point marking the inception of everything. Yet Webb's findings assault the chronology so ferociously that the singularity itself falls under suspicion. If galaxies materialized ubiquitously and simultaneously, if structures music materialized prematurely, if matter distributed itself in patterns defying the causal, music constraints of the early universe, then the notion of a unique origin point disintegrates. The sole remaining interpretation proves profoundly disturbing. If the universe stands infinite today, it has always stood infinite. That implies the Big Bang did not erupt at one locale. It unfolded everywhere at once across an already boundless cosmic, music volume. And if the universe has always persisted in some guise, then what Webb reveals are not primordial galaxies. They constitute vestiges of processes that commenced well before the Big Bang became perceptible to us. Music, this no longer qualifies as model refinement. This marks the model's demise. Webb's music, most unnerving disclosure is that scientists remain clueless about the true identity of these entities. They refuse to behave like galaxies. They fail to match quasar architecture. They align with neither protostars, clusters, nor nebulae. They appear compact, ultraluminous, star-saturated constructs operating at impossible efficiency. And spectroscopic analysis reveals music. Some have transformed 100% of their gas into stars, a feat no known galaxy achieves. These entities obey no recognized formation laws. They fit no established chronology. They respond to no physics we currently articulate. They may embody an entirely novel category of cosmic architecture from an era of cosmic history previously unknown. And that realization plunges us not merely into anomaly confrontation, but into a full-scale cosmic music identity crisis. After decades of unwavering faith in our cosmological frameworks, James Webb has unleashed a revelation so devastating that it compels confrontation with a scenario no one wished to entertain. The Big Bang paradigm cannot account for the universe we actually observe. Not its chronology, not its mass scales, not its luminosities, music, not its star formation rates, not its spatial arrangement, not its expansion dynamics, not its structural patterns. Nothing aligns. If these entities qualify as galaxies, the Big Bang model stands irreparably defective. If they do not qualify as galaxies, we have unearthed an unprecedented class of cosmic entity emerging precisely at the presumed dawn of time. Either way, physics, music suffers defeat. And that explains the quiet panic among scientists. When a telescope presents phenomena that should not exist, only two paths remain: alter the evidence or alter our conception of the universe. The evidence refuses to budge. James Webb has compelled physics to fracture. Now reconstruction must begin. When you assemble everything James Webb has exposed, the impossible luminosities, the impossible masses, the impossible distances, the impossible chronologies, the impossible star formation efficiencies, the impossible expansion contradictions, the impossible early universe organization, and place every inconsistency alongside its fellows, a pattern crystallizes. The pattern does not whisper. It does not equivocate. It does not permit smoothing via ingenious mathematics or patching via yet another ad hoc hypothesis. It roars that the narrative we have recounted about the cosmos for nearly a century stands fundamentally fractured. Because the galaxy's Webb displays are not nascent. They are not assembling. They are not rudimentary. They constitute fully developed music, titans materializing at an epoch when the universe should still be mastering its first steps. Yet it already races marathons, constructs stellar populations, music, at peak efficiency, forges compact structures more rapidly than physics permits, and conducts itself as though music, has bypassed hundreds of millions of years of cosmological maturation. And the most harrowing detail, the detail that leaves cosmologists gazing mutely at their monitors in music-stunned silence, is that these entities are no rare aberrations. They proliferate. They stud music, Webb's deep fields like cosmic tripwires. Each one obliterates yet another segment of the music Big Bang chronology. Even if only several prove authentic, the standard model implodes. Webb reveals music dozens. Dozens that defy formation physics. Dozens that violate causality itself. And in that moment, you begin to comprehend why astrophysicists, music, whisper their alarm behind closed doors. Because the universe Webb unveils does not commence small, innocent, and gradual. It awakens fully alert, fully vigorous, fully architected. The early universe appears excessively aged, excessively mature, excessively ordered. And that compels a terrifying music question. What if the universe never originated as we have assumed? What if the Big Bang marked not a genesis, but a metamorphosis? What if the observable universe constitutes merely the outermost music veneer of something vastly more ancient, vastly more profound, vastly stranger than our equations were music ever equipped to accommodate? Because when galaxies manifest prematurely, excessively luminous, music excessively massive, excessively sophisticated, the fault lies not with the galaxies. The fault lies with the model. And that is the devastating clarity James Webb has delivered music with merciless precision. We misjudged not the objects. We misjudged the universe. The chronology stands incorrect. The formation physics stand incorrect. The expansion premises stand incorrect. The observable universe's frontier marks no true origin. It marks merely the limit of music, what light permits us to perceive. And beyond that frontier, the universe may extend music infinitely backward, not merely infinitely outward. A universe lacking any genuine commencement, any singular origin, any creation narrative. A universe that has eternally existed in one configuration or another. And Webb, with its golden mirror fixed upon music, the abyss, may have just furnished the inaugural evidence of that timeless cosmos. So if this music video has unsettled the way you perceive the universe, do not depart in silence. Subscribe, because the revelations on the horizon will prove even more severe. Like this video, music, so others can grasp why physics now trembles. And share in the comments. Do you believe the universe possessed a definite beginning, or is Webb revealing something far more ancient than the Big Bang? I'd love to hear what you think about this, so drop a comment below. If you enjoyed our conversation today, please share this video and subscribe to help the channel grow. Every bit of support counts.